So what if I told you that the invisible forces shaping what you want, who you admire, and even how you think are all part of an ancient religious system that's just hiding in plain sight?
Welcome to Sartori Studios, where innovation meets creativity.
We're diving into a section from Michael Sartori's Tenets Before Temples, a book that honestly decodes the hidden economics of our modern culture. And it argues that to really understand our world, we first have to understand our desires.
I mean, just think about it for a second. We scroll through feeds like they're sacred texts. We follow these personalities. We give offerings, likes, shares, our money. Our phones have literally become these portals to a new kind of worship. But the real question is, what or who are we actually worshiping?
Well, here's the book's central idea, and it is a wild one. Our modern culture, with its whole universe of influencers, looks almost exactly like the mythology of ancient Greece. The goddess of desire, Aphrodite, she hasn't gone anywhere. Nope, she's just been rebranded as the modern influencer. And she's still commanding our attention, shaping the very things we think will make us happy or beautiful or successful.
All right, so let's meet these new gods, shall we? The author makes a pretty compelling case that today's biggest archetypes, the people we look up to, are filling the exact same roles as the ancient deities, each one ruling over their own little domain of our culture.
So, first up, you've got Hermes. Remember him? The messenger god, the god of commerce and travel. Well, who's his modern counterpart? It's the Silicon Valley tech mogul. I mean, these are the guys building the digital roads and marketplaces that we all use every single day, and they have this immense power over how information and money flows.
And then you've got Ares, the god of war. Today, he's basically reborn as the fitness guru or that manosphere influencer you see everywhere. These personalities are all about physical transformation, getting strong, and returning to these sort of traditional masculine ideals. And they command these huge legions of followers who are all seeking strength and status.
And ruling over all of them? Well, it's not a single person. It's an idea, the spirit of Zeus. Just like Zeus was the king, the ultimate power that justified whatever he wanted to do, the author argues there's this overarching spirit of power in our culture today. It's kind of a mix of materialism and humanism, and it's used to justify the actions of today's elites, no matter how wild they get.
Okay, so how does this new religion actually work? What's the engine that powers this whole thing? Well, it all boils down to a really fundamental and often misunderstood human impulse: covetousness.
You've probably heard the phrase, the love of money is the root of all evil. Well, the original Greek word there is philargyria, and this is where it gets really interesting. The author points out that a much better translation is simply covetousness, and that little shift changes everything. Suddenly, the focus isn't on money itself, but on the desire for what other people have. It's not about the cash, it's about the want.
And that want is driven by something called mimetic desire. This is a huge idea from a philosopher named René Girard. And it's actually pretty simple, but it's also profound. We don't really know what to want on our own. We learn what to desire by watching what other people desire. Our wants are basically contagious. Okay, picture this. You've got two kids in a room that's just full of toys. The first kid is totally happy, ignoring all of them. But then, a second kid walks in and picks up one specific toy. Suddenly, that one toy becomes the most desirable thing in the entire world to the first kid. That's mimetic desire, right there in action.
As Girard himself put it, we look to other people to figure out what's even worth wanting. And in the age of social media, my gosh, we are constantly just bombarded by the desires of influencers, our modern gods, who are telling us exactly what to covet, what to buy, and who to be.
So what's the real-world price of building an entire economy on this engine of desire? Well, the consequences are pretty tangible. They affect everything, from our bank accounts and our ability to build a future, all the way to our most intimate relationships.
I mean, just look at this data from the book. In a major hub like San Francisco, a tiny 1,000 square foot home costs almost $1 million. For most people, even people earning a pretty good income, the dream of just building a stable family life there is, well, it's economically impossible. And this insane pressure, it pushes us away from big, long-term goals and toward the short-term hits of dopamine that our new gods are selling.
Now, this economic pressure gets supercharged by what the author calls sexonomics. This is basically where technology and the free market smash right into our most basic human instincts, and the result is that desire itself becomes the ultimate product to be bought and sold.
And look, this didn't happen overnight. It started way back with advertising, linking products to big ideas, like cigarettes becoming torches of freedom.
Then it sped up in the 60s, when sex was culturally separated from the idea of family. Then it creeped into kids' cartoons in the 80s, priming them with these hypersexualized ideals. And finally, the internet just blew the doors off, creating a direct, frictionless market for desire, 24/7.
So, with our economy so tangled up in making and selling desire, you have to ask, is there a way out? Can technology offer a fix? If the financial system we have now is part of the problem, could a new one, like cryptocurrency, be the solution? The book really digs into whether we can actually code our way out of what seems to be a very, very human problem.
So let's break it down. Our current system, fiat currency, is based on trust. We trust governments, we trust banks. Bitcoin, on the other hand, is based on proof. It's a decentralized system where everything is verified by computers, so you don't need that central authority. But here's the author's critique, and it's a big one. A new tool doesn't fix an old problem. If our core values are still just about our own personal gain and comfort, Bitcoin isn't going to solve covetousness. It'll just change who's holding the power, not the nature of that power.
But what if money could be redesigned to actually encourage us to be better? The author throws out this really cool thought experiment, a world with multiple currencies. Imagine real estate bucks that grow faster if you save them for a house, or health bucks that give you discounts on good food, or even vice bucks that make it harder to buy harmful things. It's a fascinating idea for a system that isn't just about transactions, but about aligning our money with our values.
Ultimately, though, the book argues that the real answer isn't just economic or technological. At the end of the day, the true foundation of any lasting culture, the greatest building block of civilization, isn't a currency. It's not a corporation. It's the family. That's the core unit where values actually get passed from one generation to the next.
Which really brings us to our last question. Our current economy is amazing at putting a price tag on literally everything we desire. But while it's busy satisfying all of our short-term wants, what kind of long-term culture is it actually building?